What's up, Kansas City? I'm Bryan Frizell, and my commentary critique is on The Cosby Show. It isn't hard to believe that we are celebrating this cultural phenomenon. September 20th, 1984, it first aired. So it's been roughly 30 years this week that we've had this timeless treasure, The Cosby Show, in our living rooms. For those of you who do not know, The Cosby Show starred Bill Cosby as Heathcliff Huxtable, a OB-GYN, a doctor. His wife was a successful lawyer, Claire Huxtable, played by Felicia Rashad. They had 4, sometimes 5 kids in and out of the house. The oldest, Sandra, was away to Princeton when the series started, and the youngest was Rudy. The only male child was Theo, and the story ended with him graduating from college in 1992. During its 8-year run, The Cosby Show appeared as #1 in the Nielsen ratings 5 times. That is no small feat for this NBC show. Let me rewind a little bit. At the time The Cosby Show aired on NBC, you had Give Me a Break, you had Different Strokes. During the running of this series, you had at one time or another Amen, 227, Golden Girls, Different World. NBC at that time seemed to really commit themselves to producing shows with African Americans as leading characters. Over at ABC later on, you had Family Matters, but we're not going to mention that. Cosby Show was unique in the fact that you had a couple who were upper middle class, who were raising their children and with traditional black values, black. How do you define black? That is a good question. In the Cosby Show household, you went to college, you graduated from college, you worked, and you represented your family, and you carried yourself with class, you carried yourself very well. The show dealt with various issues, but nothing had been on TV and had resonated with the audience at that time. This was the first time, Cosby Show. So here we are 30 years later. We have some fun facts. Whitney Houston was originally considered for the role of Sandra. Can you guys imagine that? Whitney Houston singing, perhaps, her role, coming down the stairs saying, "Hi, Mom, home from Princeton." But they did choose to cast Sabrina LaBeouf. Bill Cosby's character was originally called Clifford. Cosby originally proposed that the couples both should have blue-collar jobs. He was going to be a limousine driver, and the Claire Huxtable character, I believe, was going to be an electrician. But Bill Cosby's wife, Mrs. Camille Cosby, said, no, let's give them both white-collar jobs and make them really upper-class professionals. The Cosby sweaters were designed by a Dutchman. Simpsons aired at one point on Thursday nights at the same time as Cosby. And the character Denise, played by Lisa Bonet, married Lenny Kravitz, who was Roxy Roker's son. Roxy Roker, of course, played Helen on The Jeffersons. Jeffersons, of course, Helen and Claire Huxtable, those two characters, Felicia Rashad and Roxy Roker, both went to Howard University, so that's an interesting connection. The Cosby Show marketing genius. Again, at that time, NBC, it was nothing like that on television. NBC was committed to diversity at some level. You had comedies like Amen. You had comedies later on like 227. You had Different Strokes, 2 adopted kids with a father who was a successful businessman. But here in The Cosby Show, you were in the living room, front and center of a successful black couple who worked hard to raise their kids, teach them right from wrong, and have fun doing it. Every week something new would happen. Every week a new guest character. Me personally, I tuned into The Cosby Show every Thursday. I can remember it. Even if my mom was away getting her hair done, Thursday was hairdressing night in our home, or my dad was in his golf club meetings, I would be at my aunt's house, my grandma's house. I would be in front of the television watching the Cosby Show. It was a sin for me to miss the Cosby Show. Some of my favorite episodes, I like the Lena Horne episode where they got a chance to meet the jazz singer backstage during Cliff Huxtable's birthday. I like the Locomotion episode where Vanessa decides she wants to lip sync, but it got a little too risque for her parents in the living room. All of the Theo Cockroach story ideas were wonderful. I like those as well. The character of Rudy and her interaction with Kenny and later on with Stanley, I found those very interesting. Of course, the Nighttime is the Right Time episode where they entertain the grandparents for their 49th anniversary on those living room steps. Singing along to Ray Charles, no one can forget that. So it's 30 years later. Can you imagine the Rudy Huxtable character is exactly the same age as Claire Huxtable? Could we do another Cosby Show? Could Rudy, played by Keisha Knight Pulliam, could she have 5 kids and be married to a successful doctor, Cliff Huxtable, so to say? Hey, why not? Looking across the this year's lineup, I think that we have gone a different direction in terms of diversity. This show closest to maybe what Cosby Show would or would not be in the new millennium, and it is unfair to compare. However, Blackish is being advertised as a smart, hip, fun show with Tracy Ellis Ross, Anthony Anderson, and Lawrence Fishburne raising their kids to be proud of their heritage while accepting cultural nuances of different heritage as well. Looks interesting. You also have How to Get Away with Murder with the talented Viola Davis playing a law teacher with a class of eager, precocious young adults who get involved in their own caper mystery. You have Alfre Woodard playing the First Lady in State of the Affairs. There are other, I look forward to Empire, the anti-Cosby Show, if you want to go there, with Taraji P. Henson and Terrence Howard. This season, we have a lot of wonderful shows. Some are returning. I have guilty pleasures. Perhaps you watch The Game. I'm guilty of watching The Game. Soul Man, I love watching Soul Man. You have Scandal coming back. And you have a variety of other shows as well. But Cosby Show, we truly do miss it. Nothing like it again. 30 years later, Claire Huxtable, Felicia Rashad, she starred in many movies. If you watch Tyler Perry movies, you might have seen her in No Good Deed. I mean, not No Good Deed, Good Deed. She was also in Frankie and Alice with Halle Berry recently, and she was in Just Right. So she's still working. Cliff Huxtable, Bill Cosby just released a television comedy show, Bill Cosby Far From Finished. He was in Meteor Man, Fat Albert, and Cosby Mysteries throughout the 90s and early millennium. Sandra was a voice of Norman Bindlebeep in Fatherhood, and she is currently a leading lady with the Shakespeare Theater Company. Malcolm Jamal Warner, and I'm saying his real name, he has been credited with no less than 25 television appearances and was the he was the leading man in Read Between the Lines, a show which I am kind of disappointed that BET canceled. And the character of Rudy, played by Keisha Knight Pulliam. Sister Girl has it going on. She was in House of Pain, over 50 episodes. She was in Tyler Perry movies. She appeared in The Gospel, and one of the best hair salon movies. They had the hair salon trend in the early millennium, Beauty Shop with Queen Latifah. So I'm really interested and looking forward to what this young lady has to do, as well as seeing more from classic comedian Bill Cosby and Felicia Rashad. So we're going to wrap up here, but I want you to be conscious of what we're viewing here. Again, if you've never seen The Cosby Show, you do want to rent DVD compilation, the anthology, and look back on some of it, because this is important television history. It will show you in the 80s lingo, 80s cultural setting, what hardworking, upper middle class blacks look like. Now, you have the antithesis to the Cosby Show. We're not going to go there, that I didn't live this. This wasn't my life. So what? This is entertainment. We love Sanford and Son. We love the Jeffersons, where you moved on up. We love Good Times. We love all of our classic shows. Why be critical of the Cosby Show? Because it led us to show something different, show something heartwarming. And many people aspire to go to college and do that, and in particular HBCU. The creation of Hillman inside of the Cosby Show as a central setting, a central cultural landmark, inspired thousands, if not millions, of young African Americans to want to go to college, particularly HBCU, and follow their dreams, follow their pursuit, passion, their professional longings. So with that said, what was your Cosby Show experience? Cosby Show marketing genius today. You might want to check this out. Mr. Mark Whitaker has a book coming out about Bill Cosby. It's called Cosby, His Life and Times. Read it. I'm sure it'll be an interesting read. Check out the videos. My name is Bryan Frizell. Once again, aim high, shoot for the moon. If you missed, at the very least, you would have landed among the stars. Thank you. See you 30 years from now.
If you find yourself in need of a criminal defense, personal injury, or immigration lawyer, then call the Service Law Offices of Kansas City.
You'll get the experience of an attorney who understands your need for aggressive representation. Consultations are free, so call today.
Sooner or later, you'll need service.